Hello and welcome to the AIA, or the Alien Invasion Alert Podcast, the podcast where biology meets the global stage. I am Tristan de la Cruz.
I am Princess Kina Taza.
And I am Clarence Nicole Abanit. So today we're diving into a very pressing topic in ecological field, which is
Invasive species.
The uninvited guests that are reshaping ecosystems worldwide, often with the help of globalization.
So in this podcast, we'll explore what invasive species are, how globalization fuels their spread, and their impact on the local biodiversity. Plus, we will also include insights that we have obtained from our fellow biologistas, which are very informed or well-informed or well-versed in this topic.
So without further ado, let's jump in.
For the first segment, we will understand what exactly are invasive species. So Tan, what are invasive species?
So according to the National Wildlife Federation, an invasive species can be any kind of living organism, be it an amphibian, a plant, insect, fish, fungus, bacteria, or an organism's seeds or an egg that is not native to an ecosystem and can cause harm. They can harm the environment, the economy, or even the human health. Species that grow and reproduce quickly and spread aggressively with potential to cause harm are given the term invasive. So, unsa may example anong mga invasive species na nahibalaan ninyo?
Ikaw na.
So, an example for an invasive species is the giant African land snail. So, in some areas, they are intentionally introduced for the agricultural purposes, such as pest control. But because of their invasive nature, they also become pests. So, before they are introduced in the agricultural sector to feed on small invertebrates. And then as time pass, they also eat the crops. That's why they become pests.
Wala na niya na-serve iyahang purpose.
That's
Sobra
why
na siya.
nahimo na siyang invasive species yan.
So, ang another example is an ivy gourd, which is kanang among gistudihan atong ato ganing the bio nga
The bio.
subject sa una.
Wow.
So, an ivy gourd is an invasive plant that is known for its rapid growth, climbing a habit, and ability to spread among large areas. So, it can be seen everywhere, including sa atong school, sa USEP. So,
Unsa may sinawng anak niya day?
kabalo mo atong kita mo dito sa my greenhouse. Kato ganing vines nga na siya heart shape nga leaves, tapos white iyang flowers, tapos ang ihang prutas kay green siya o
Kulag
hilaw.
na
Oh, tapos ang mag-red siya o
Mag-red pag
kuan
hinog.
kana pag hinog na. Unya ginatawag pud siya nga little cucumbers kay ngano tungod sa pareha din silang noun.
Sa pipino.
Like, gamay, mura din siya gamay nga pipino. Tapos, another trivia, I mean, facts nang siya kay, kani nga, nga plant kay, ginagamit mo siya sa pagluto, sa other countries, specifically, sa kanang mga southeastern nga mga countries. And, even though kanang ginagamit siya sa pagluto, pwede ma-consider po siya as invasive kay
Yeah.
kanang gina-outcompete gani niya ang other native nga plants nga sa iyang palibot by kanang covering sa ground, mukatkat siya mga trees nga mag-block sa other plants from the sun.
So like paspas ka siya motubo.
Yang murag nag-outcompete siya og mga resources laban sa mga other plants.
So, now that we have known what exactly are invasive species and that we have known that invasive species are a global issue, so how does globalization fit into the picture? So now for this segment, let's talk about how globalization facilitates in the spread of this invasive species.
So, unsa man ang globalization says?
Globalization, it is the way of the countries, economies, and cultures around the world in becoming more connected. This process is made easier by technology and communication, allowing goods and services, information, and people to move quickly across borders. While globalization can boost economic growth and cultural exchange, it also raises concerns about its impact on local economies, tradition, and environment.
So in relation sa globalization, According to the study of Meyerson and Mooney in 2007, globalization is linked to the spread of invasive species through increased global trade, travel, and human movement, which unintentionally transport species across borders. So it also facilitates habitat changes through urbanization and agriculture, providing new environment for invasive species to thrive.
And also pang additional po no, according to Bonamore, Gipet, and Bertelsmer in their 2021 study, since industrial revolution, global trade, and human movement have facilitated in the spread of alien species, and in their study, they have pointed out two globalization waves. First is the wave that is driven by innovations like steamships and railroads, and the second is the wave that was fueled by modern transport networks. Now, while alien species introduction surged over the 20th century, this trend may partly reflect increased species observation efforts rather than true invasion dynamics. So, di ba, kanang usually sa tourism, for example, kay naman dyan yung mga tao nga, like let's say mo adto sila sa laing nasod nya magka-interest sila sa kanang mga plants dira naman jud chance nga ilahan ng kuhaon di ba nya ilahang itanom sa ilaha. So isa na siya sa way nga ang mga invasive species kay ma-transport and nga na pud siya nga ma-connect nato siya sa globalization.
Tama, sa training pud nga part, kapag remember mo atong time sa pandemic, di ba
Yes.
dagan man kayog mga plantito, plantita.
Kung mama.
Oo.
Lola na
Diba? So kanang sa kanang ang uban sa mga plantitas kay nag-order pud sila from abroad nga mga plants. Kanang pag-order nila kay tungod makuan lagi sila kay la nindot ni siya ana. Ilahang ginapalit nga ginadala diri sa sa Pilipinas nga wa sila kabalo ka invasive na dahil itong ilang mga plant nga gipangpalit.
So kana pong sa kaning parana sa Amorsico, di ba invasive man po na sila.
Ito ba nang ano mo
Katong mo pilit
Katong
katong
sa sanin.
napos pagaman di ba seeds man na nila na. Napos through ana kapag ang mga tao kapag mapilit na silang mga fans, example ana kay kining kapag mo uli sila sa ilahang mga provinces ang kanang mga seeds nga napilit sa ilahang mga clothes kay maadto sa kining yuta pa karon and then mutubo na po dara so it will reproduce there and then mag-invade na siya dito
So now, to get some fresh perspectives on the topic of invasive species, we interviewed a few biology majors in the University of Southeastern Philippines.
So we asked them about their thoughts on how globalization spreads invasive species, their personal experiences, as well as what they think can be done about it.
So let's hear what they had to say. So to start this interview, kindly introduce yourself, your major, and what is your background that allowed you to study invasive species, or what is your knowledge when it comes to invasive species?
So I'm Wilmer Bibacona, a fourth year biology student right now. So I am taking BS Biology major in plant biology. So sa among mga previous lesson, we already talked about the invasive species. So we've learned that this is a non-native, especially if invasive plants, this is a non-native to that being introduced to one place. So sometimes or it become invasive manggod kay paspas kay siya mo spread and it become pest or makaharm siya sa atong environment for it will kanagong imbis nga atong mga native plants ang motubo kay kini nga mga invasive species ang mo spread, so might be mawala atong mga native species sa mga plants.
Okay po. Tapos so sa imong knowledge kung unsa man nga mga invasive species kanang can you give an example?
So for example, we have these pinaka-common sa atong place. We have the Gymnelina and also sa mga common name. We also have buyo-buyo or katong buyo if you are familiar with the Piper beetle. So kanang kusog kay kanang buyo is kusog kay siya mo vine sa isa ka tree. So sa pag ma-introduce siya sa isa ka place, kusog kay siya mo spread hantod nga ang mahitabo kay murag ilahagong sakupo ng isa ka place
mag-compete sila
o
resources.
yes, so mo to siya ang term nga ang pinakakigod nga makipagkompetensya sila sa resources, so mo siya naay ka ng harmful effects sa ato ang sa ato ang environment.
So how does this species arrive at our country sa imong panag?
So for me, dili siya dili siya native sa ato ang sa atong place, sa atong country. So daghan siya mga way paano siya naabot diri. Might be sa mga person like mga wala kabalo or wala kay laani nga plan, so ginagdala lang sila like ay kani souvenir, gidala nila silang place tapos wala sila kabalo nga invasive, and it turns out nga invasive plants dito. Then as the days pass by kay kanang wala sila kabalo, wala nila nabantayan nga kato naging invasive, then nagdaghan na siya sa place, and also kanang mga kanang wala na tuyo nga mga situation nga nadala nila mismo, or for example kanang mga nag out of the place, tapos pagbalik nila na sila yung mga nadala nga mga species sa plants, so lack of knowledge pod nadala nila diri without knowing invasive di ito.
Okay. So in connection sa question, how does this globalization like trading, tourism kanang contributed to the spread of these species?
So when it comes to globalization, it's man jud diba changing sa ato ang country. So diba dati kay dili man dali-dali ang isa ka person like makaadto sa other country kay wala pa man tong mga Philippine Airlines, wala pa tong mga nice nga mga airplane. So ang uban kay pipila pa lang, and through globalization anay mga paspas nga mga pang transport nga mga transportation, and mo to siya. And connection po din sa akong answer ganina, mo to siyang kanang naay mga species sa plants nga accidentally nga madala kay kanang wala na kayo sila kabalo, and kanang pataka na lagdala, and tungod po sa kapaspas sa globalization kay wala na sila nakabalo nga ang katong ilang action kay naka harm na pud sa atong biodiversity tungod lang jud sa, for example, isa lang jud ka plant, since invasive siya, paspas lang kayo siya mo spread, so mo to siya mag-cause siya harm sa atong biodiversity.
Also, murag nag-answer na nimo ang question number 5.
Okay, so
what is the impacts of this species in our ecosystem?
Yeah.
So, has this species affected any local industries like agriculture or tourism?
So for us, maka-relate ko ana kay our family is a family of farmer. Kanang sa among farm kay lisod kay siya patyon kay kanang di siya makaya kanang pang-spray lang like, or di kaya pang putlon kay pagkasunod o pila ka days kay motubo na pod siya. So dako kay other species like kanang buyo, kanang kay siya kanang kusog kay siya mo paspas kusog kay siya mo daghan. Yeah, like lisod kay siya patyon, so it become kanang stress sa mo ang agriculture. So dili gid siya murag 90% jud sa kanang mga invasive.
So what efforts can be made to manage this problem of invasive species? So what are the challenges na pwede ma-encounter when trying to solve these such problems?
So since we're studying right now, especially mga plant biology so this will help to widen our minds and help we can help other people. So kanang karon kay kanang mostly sa mga students kay nakababad sa social media, by simply kanang mag-share tag mga mga posts about the invasive species, or di kaya kung kaya jud mo makipag face to face to talk with the other students or katong mga especially atong mga future generations or katong mga bagong mga generation, so daghan tag ways to help to para ma-manage ang mga invasive species. And sa gitong following question niya,
what are the challenges that can be encountered when trying to solve such problems?
So mo to kung gingon if there is a way naagyapon siya problem in each way. So ang ano dyan ana is ang first ana is ang paano ka makipag-communicate if you are not well or wala kay idea about communication, strong communication kadi pa nimo ma-deliver. Hamba ako nagkipag-atubang na kaunya like unya wala kasabot ang ano na kanang ay hala unsa dim ginaingon. So communication is also one of the problem nga imong ma-face during sa pag help nimo to widen the knowledge about the invasive species.
So, thank you. So, as globalization continues to expand, do you think the problem of invasive species will worsen?
It still depend sa isa ka place kay kung makita nato no naay kanang different process sa globalization sa different places. For example, katong uban nga kanang hinay ang globalization kanang hinay pod ang dagan sa ilang ano ba kun sa makina pa kay hinay kaayo tapos sa uban kay paspas. So katong mga paspas na sila maka innovate sila mga chemicals or other instruments nga maka help to lessen these invasive species. Pero sa uban kay mo to problem gyapon sa ila kay lack of budget mo to siya. So still nagay problem when it comes to kung mga low nga naga-process pa or kato mga especially kato mga country nga nasa third world. Excuse me.
So, last question na tayo.
Yeah.
So, personal insights lang po. So, what are your personal insights or memorable experience when studying invasive species?
So for me lang it's this one akong maingon kay makahelp ko ni sa inyo ha. So when you are since we are studying plants no, kung mag-explore gani mo, dili kay kanang when you ay kani ano ni siya family ni siya sa Oleracea, family ni siya sa mga invasive ni siya. Dili mo maging hantod diri nga nagklase ha. But maging thankful mo kay it will help your makatabang ni sa inyo ha kay mas ma-enhance ang inyong idea about the kanang mga invasive species. For example kay kanang mag-field me. So kanang naman ni lingaw-lingaw nya pagabot dito gipangutan nami unsa ni siya habang naami sa trail. So uban kanang or maski na ko main ko hanto diri sige ra magklase. So not until nga ma-realize na ko nga this is way to para mas makabalumi ko unsa jud ang kato mga plants nga dapat hatagan og pansin ug kato mga plants nga dapat ang ginatagaan og attention to para ma-remove or di kaya ma-lessen ang ilang number. So
wala to tanan niya. Thank you so much.
So, can you introduce your name and what is your background that allowed you to study invasive species?
So, I'm James David Ipanganduyon. I am a third-year plant biology major studying in this university. And also, during the pandemic, for 2 years, I have become the president of our farmers cooperative, which gave me enough background, especially in this agricultural setting in terms of invasive species and agricultural practices.
So, from your knowledge, what are the invasive species that can you give example of some invasive species?
Yeah, actually, for example, in animals in our farm, mostly which in our cooperative, which we are mostly planting crops like rice and mungo. Most of the invasive species that we're encountering are weeds like nut grasses, and for animals like kohol, golden apple snail is one of the most problematic and mostly encountered invasive species in the field.
So, how has the species arrived at our country? Do you have knowledge about it?
For the kohol, the golden apple snail, it was once mentioned in our seminar that this kohol or this type of snail was introduced in the Philippines during 1980s to suffice the low protein diet of farmers. So this shellfish is supposedly been implanted to the rice field agricultural setting, especially for the low income farmers, so that they can have another source of protein. But turns out after years of cultivating this crop, this species, it became invasive and damaging to the rice agriculture in the Philippines.
So, in terms in globalization, so how does globalization contribute to the spread of this species?
So, globalization. Globalization is also a major driver in the arrival of many invasive species in many countries. Like for example, the Philippines, we are not highly strict in securing our what is importing or what's getting exported here inside and outside the country. So thus, there are a lot of invasive species that arrived here for how many years in this country. Like for example, the golden apple snail during the 1980s, the janitor fish, the tilapias, which are really invasive species here in our country, and those were not facilitated properly by the government, mainly because the export and the import of these organisms were not properly monitored and observed or studied during those times. And because of that, it has been contributing to the agricultural communities in the Philippines for many centuries now, unlike other countries like America, which is highly strict in the import and export of products. Like for example, America does not allow the import of mangosteen because of Asian bugs that might infest in their agricultural sectors, which is also why the other countries like America have been striving along with their agricultural sector, because they are practically securing the import and export of the organisms in and out of the country, unlike Philippines, which is not highly securing and monitoring the import and export of organisms here in the country, which is affecting our agricultural sector heavily, especially in the account of invasive species.
So, can you tell what are the impact in the ecosystem, the invasive species?
Yeah, invasive species are actually species that doesn't have a common or a predator in our environment or in our ecosystem. Thus, they thrive heavily because there are no predators, there are no other organisms that could control their population and their numbers. So, for example, in the agricultural field, in the rice field, like for example, kohol, they thrive very successfully because there are no other animals or other organisms that could predate them. But instead, the farmers are effectively lowering their numbers by using pesticides to decrease their numbers, and thus promoting more higher yields of crops. And these invasive species have been altering our ecosystem, especially in the environmental and agricultural sector for many years now. And their numbers, especially in plants, the weeds, invasive weeds and animals, they have been affecting significantly in our production, especially in our community in Matanao, in Kapok. So these invasive species like the weeds and the kohol, we've always been using pesticides and herbicides to control their numbers, and no other thing than in controlling the number of invasive species.
So, what do you think are the efforts that can be made to manage the problem of invasive species? What are the challenges that can be encountered when trying to solve this problem?
So these invasive species mainly became a problem because the country has not been securing its import and export of organisms and other trades with other countries. Thus, invasive species became a problem and became a significant, especially nowadays. But in terms of control, controlling the number of invasive species, specifically in the agricultural sector, they've been controlling our farmers, or in our community, they've been controlling the number of them by using herbicides and pesticides. And I think that is a very bad method or a very ineffective way of handling these invasive species, as on the long run, these herbicides and pesticides could also impact heavily on our environment, especially in agriculture. So I think that sooner the Philippines or the agricultural departments or sectors should be strict in implementing laws and monitoring this import and export and trades of organisms, especially possible invasive species to our country.
So, as globalization continues to expand, do you think that the problems involves invasive species will worsen?
I think it depends on the handling of a country or a certain department or sector in terms of these invasive species. Like as what I've mentioned, Philippines is not really strict in imposing or creating laws or imposing securities for the import and export of organisms. Like unlike in US, that they have been very careful and very strict on what comes in and what comes out on their country, so that they have been really monitoring possible agricultural threats. Like for example, the US have been monitoring mangosteens that gets exported and imported in their country, because those are possible carriers of Asian bugs that might affect their agricultural sectors. But unlike here in the Philippines, we have been illegally, or there's no heavy security on what's going in and what's going out of our country. Thus, we have all of these many invasive species that have been beginning to become a threat and become a problem to the agricultural sector, especially to farmers.
So, in your personal insights, what are the memorable experience when studying about invasive species?
So, after years of being also getting incorporated in the rice fields together with our co-farmers, as I began to venture on their also problems, trying to incorporate my knowledge in biology as well as answering their problems in our community, especially in plant weeds, which is affecting our agriculture. I think one of the most fun thing to do is that knowing that you know how to apply the knowledge that you have in supposedly attaining this sustainable or a more sufficient way in handling this kind of problems without the use of pesticides and other harmful chemicals that might affect the agriculture or the agriculture in your community on the long run. But hopefully, the one main thing in handling or controlling this kind of problems is mostly related probably to the handling of the government, because they are the greater or the more bigger agencies that could capably do more than like a student like me. They are these departments or these government sectors could probably create more of a great method or a great strategy in handling this kind of problems, especially in the agricultural community.
That's all. Thank you for
Yeah.
your
Thank you.
participation.
Thank you.
So I'm Hazam, a fourth year BS Bio student. So inspiration for me to study invasive species was their invasiveness, or how they affect our ecosystem as being with their characteristics. So for me, invasive species, these are species that are introduced to the ecosystem. For example, in the Philippines, invasive species are introduced because firstly is for agriculture or maybe for pest control. Let's say for example, ang mga cane bullfrog, they were introduced to us by previously in the previous years. It's because to control pests. However, because of their invasiveness, they outcompete with the natural or the endemic species of toads here in the Philippines. That what makes them invasive. So it was first introduced in the country with, around 1930s. This is because when it was introduced in the other country, which is the Puerto Rico, it has been a successful biological pest control agent. So they tried to introduce the species here in the Philippines in the sugarcane farmlands. So it was a success at first. However, again, due to its invasive nature, so it outcompetes the mga natural na mga toads and species of frogs in the Philippines. So aside from that, so, they are rapidly reproducing, outcompeting with the resources that is supposed to be for the natural and endemic species of toads and frogs in the Philippines. I believe it was really the globalization who paved the way para ma-introduce ni na species to us, not just the cane toads but also any other invasive species, because the opening of welcoming other foreign countries, them introducing other species, other ways, for example, in farming, really kanang introduce those species to us. Not at first kay makahelp siya, although ang niya ang iyang purpose is to help, but in the long run it became a problem na. So, for example, the Rhinella marina, aside from it outcompetes the endemic species when it comes to consuming the mga natural na kanang pagkaon nila sa ecosystem, it also become a harmful food source for some native predators. It's because they release harmful toxins that is na dili adapted ang katong mga natural predators within that ecosystem. So that's one of the example na gina-exhibit sa Rhinella marina. Normally as a kanang mga regular citizens, they would really not know the negative impacts of these animals, of this introduced species. It's because murag nakalakihan na nila, na makita na nila within the area ba. It's because it was introduced previous years ago. So I believe one of the best siguro is the government to push something, kanang ang mga government agencies specific to kanang mga agricultural na mga departments to amend sa mga laws or mga protocols on how to manage this species. And if ever na kanang gamiton ba siya as a biological pest control, then there should be a protocol that should be followed na in order for it to be kanang ma-contain ang ihang number. It would not outnumber those katong mga naturally occurring na mga species. And also I think as a student we can also try to educate other people about the current situation, their invasiveness, their nature and such nga to. I think given the time now, the introduction of invasive species had happened before. So given the fact na knowledge is widespread, it has been globalized, and the easy access for knowledge is through the grasp for our hands na lang ba. So I believe globalization now can be a tool in order for us to spread awareness, spread knowledge to other people what this invasive species can do and what we can do to mitigate and to respond on the problems na kaakibatan ni mga species. I think mga memorable experiences is to be engaged sa ilahang nature, to know them better, because if I look back before, I don't have a knowledge, enough knowledge about this mga species na harmful sila sa atong environment. I thought they were just kanang mga naturally occurring na mga animals, kanang kailangan po sila alagaan and such. Although we kanang promote nato na mag-alaga og mga kanang to protect natural kanang mga ang ecosystem and its components, but there are specific limitations, I think, such as mga invasive species. We should have a limits on those mga animals, I think, mauto.
So wow, hearing those perspectives from other biology students really adds a fresh layer to this discussion, right? It is clear that invasive species are not just a scientific issue, but also a deeply personal one for many people studying and living with these challenges. So gipoint out nila di ba ganina earlier about how invasive species are becoming more normalized na jud, like for example tong Gemelina or katong mga kohol.
Katong cane toads.
Oh yes, mga baki, which reminds me of a certain incident na nahitabo lang very recently lang jud sa Laguna de Bay, wherein naay mga government officials, sadly makadisappoint ang mga nag-release og around 125,000 nga mga fingerlings sa tilapia, which is gisulti ni James ganina is mga invasive, di ba? So tilapia is dili native sa Pilipinas and gi-introduce lang sila sa country around 1950s lang, which is recent bago-bago lang jud siya if imo lang hunahon. So Laguna de Bay is actually the largest lake in the Philippines and it is home to a lot of mga endemic nga species. And by introducing this tilapia sa lake, ginarisk nila nga ang mga species at mga native or endemic species in that area kay mag-undergo og decline. And naay chance na mahurot ning mga native species because of this quote-unquote nga mga alien species.
So kining release sa tilapia sa Manila de Bay can really affect the native species sa bay. Kay ang mga tilapia kay can outcompete and they can also prey on the eggs of the native species. And the feeding habits also sa mga tilapia can also change the aquatic vegetation and can affect the water quality sa bay.
Tama. So, in addition, napoy other incident nga nahitabo recently ra pod.
Yes.
So, there's an organization sa isa ka school here sa Philippines that take an initiative to plant trees para ma-enhance daw ang existing landscape sa isa ka part sa ilang school. So, tree planting sounds harmless, right?
Yes.
So, what's the issue about this incident? So, they plant native trees like Nara and non-native trees, in particular, ang mahogany. So, mahogany is an invasive species that can cause more harm than good in the long run.
So mahogany really is an invasive species. Kaya they can rapidly grow and can dominate the landscape, and they can outcompete other plants and to the nutrients, and they can produce an allelopathic chemicals. Allelopathic. And nga kana siya nga chemical kay maka-inhibit siya sa growth sa other plants around nga naa sa palibot sa kanang tree niya. So kanang mga native nga mga species sa mga plants kay dili na sila motubo kay naa na nitubo ang mahogany.
Gani. So while planting mahogany may beneficial sa ato
plant trees,
but it can actually harm biodiversity in the long run.
Yes,
So tree planting is a powerful tool for conservation, but let's make sure that we're doing it responsibly.
yes, plant responsibly.
That's right.
Since invasive species are a problem, what can we do about them? Actually, the solution starts with you. According to the natureconservancy.org, the best way to combat invasive species is to prevent them from happening in the first place. One thing you can do is to, when you are buying plants, you have to verify that the plant that you are buying is actually a native species and not an invasive species. Also, when you are traveling, you have to ensure not to carry any seeds of plants around you to make sure that there is no unwanted spreads of plants in different areas.
So we can also mitigate the spread of this invasive species by implementing a strict regulation sa pag-import sa mga products, and also monitoring program that is established to detect the growth of invasive species early on.
So in addition to what you guys said, we can also mitigate the spread of invasive species by conducting awareness campaigns. So these campaigns aim to educate people about the risk of introducing non-native species through trade, travel, or gardening, while also providing practical ways to help control invasive species.
To wrap up, invasive species are a global problem with local impacts fueled by globalization. But with awareness, action, and cooperation, we can tackle this problem. And at this juncture, I would like to thank all the very amazing and very smart biology students that helped provide their insights for our topic today.
So, thanks for joining us today on AAA,
The
Alien Invasion Alert Podcast. So if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave the comment below and share it with your friends.
So, and don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts and share your own stories about invasive species in your area.
Stay curious, stay informed, and stay connected with our planet. Until next time,
Bye!